What's that like?
Moist on the inside.
Moist on the inside.
Yeah.
For as long as I could remember, stuffing myself with huge amounts of food and watching great movies is what made Christmas, with all the family around, bearable. Then last year was my first as a vegan, and I discovered that without the seasonal calorie overload, even Lethal Weapon, Gremlins and Trading Places back to back is not enough to stop me wanting to treat annoying relatives like Hans Gruber.
I hope that's not a hostage.
So this year, having failed to convince everyone that we really should rent a very tall building for the holidays, I've gone shopping. This video is sponsored by Squarespace. So here is the plan. Last year I just assumed that vegan alternatives to my favourite Christmas treats would be rubbish, so I just went without. This year I am much more optimistic, or desperate. I've gathered together substitutions for 12 of my seasonal favourites. I will try them and rate them against my recollection of the non-plant-based version, but not alone, because my judgment could be impaired. I've not eaten an animal product in almost 2 years, so I will have with me a mini-me. Joshua's not vegan. In fact, he thinks plant-based means having a strawberry shake with your Big Mac. But biologically, he's as close to a me from the past as we're going to get without a DeLorean. YouTube, Joshua, YouTube. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to have a non-vegan item. I will rate it based on my recollection. Joshua will rate it based on his eating it now. Then we'll have the vegan one and see which one wins. And we're starting with a classic. It's Christmas cake. Do you like Christmas cake?
Never had it.
What? How have you never had Christmas cake? This is more exciting for you than me then. Let's do the non-vegan one. I shouldn't even be touching this really. You open it. Oh, I hate it when they don't put icing on the side. That is so cheap. No icing. What I used to like to do with a Christmas cake was cut myself a slice, obviously, and I would use a technique of starting very wide at the icing and then cutting down quite narrow, because you don't want too much cake. You want a lot of icing though, and leave a sort of a wedge in the cake that would annoy your grandparents. So don't do that. I would rate Christmas cake as a 7.5 out of 10 for me, historically. Do you like that? What? Like good? Is it spongy? Is it moist? Is it rich? Is it?
It's got fruit in.
Another little Christmas cake tip is if it had icing around it, you could slice it like this, and then you'd get like this whole big piece of icing around the side. But you can't do it with these.
And you wonder why you're 24 stone.
Okay. Enough of that. It's Christmas cake. Try about that. That's identical. Oh, what are you giving it out of 10?
6.
Okay, that's the same. I bet you that's the same.
The icing's different.
Yeah, but better or worse? Or just as good?
No, just different.
Different but no
Same,
worse.
yeah.
Same, so 6 out of 10. Christmas cake, vegan, is fine. Are you done, are you? Ready? Yeah. This is a Marks and Spencer's Turkey Feast sandwich. For me, was the thing that symbolised the start of Christmas. Bruce Springsteen, Santa Claus is coming to town on the radio, and then the next thing I know, these bad boys are in the shops. I could eat easily 2 of these, if not 3 of these in a go. These are moreish. This is a 10 out of 10 product, there's no question about it, that's a 10 out of 10. This is the plant-based version.
They're different.
Why doesn't it look as good? I mean, this one's got greenery in it and stuff. Yeah. 10. That's a 10 out of 10. On the downside, there's a dead bird in that. So, how do you feel about that? And he was alive recently. His name was Malcolm.
Will you enjoy your lettuce?
It's a really good sandwich, but it's just competing against
The best sandwich.
the best sandwich. It's a 7.5. What would you give it out of 10?
Yeah, 7.
Yeah. I mean, it's yummy. Why do they put lettuce in it? I don't eat vegan cheese. When I went vegan, I discovered that vegan cheese was disgusting, so I just went cold turkey. Christmas joke. I mean, if you're in the mood, it's an 8 out of 10 cheese for me. What do you
9
give it?
out of 10.
9 out of 10?
Yeah.
Well, you like it more than me. But this, it looks appalling. I mean, it's just yellow and it doesn't look remotely appealing. I mean, it looks like a 3 in the bowl. It looks like what they give you for nachos when you go to the cinema and they pour it into that little plastic pot. Oh, I don't even want to eat it. It doesn't smell of cheese. What does it smell of it? Oh, it is cinema nacho cheese. If that was produced to replicate cinema nacho cheese, they've done a pretty good job. Try a bit of that junk. That's not going to get a 9. This is a pointless exercise. Oh.
A 3.
These sandwiches are good.
I don't like how shiny your bacon is.
It's a Christmas classic. Cover his ears. Pigs in blankets. There is no danger of mistaking which pig in blanket is a real pig in a blanket and which is a thing produced in a laboratory somewhere. That does not look like a, I mean, it just looks, I'd give a pig in blanket, it's a 6, but with a nice stuffing ball, it's a 7 1/4. It tastes like they've, well, you try yours. I mean, that tastes like pigs in blankets, isn't it? No, right, try that vegan nonsense. What's it even taste of? Describe the taste. Does it have a flavour? I mean, it has it's nothing. It's like something they'd feed you on a spaceship or something. Stuffing balls, that's the real one. Go for it. I'll go for the vegan. Oh. What? What was yours like?
Tastes like a stuffing ball.
Eat that piece of junk. Again, I don't even know what the taste is of. I'm going to give them a 1. They're even worse than the nacho, because this cheese, I can imagine watching a movie with a bag of nachos and actually enjoying it for what it actually tastes like, nacho cheese. But I can't imagine any circumstance where I'd eat this. In fact, I don't even think an animal. Let's test. This is not particularly scientific. Okay, we don't need to demonstrate that Nixon would have eaten a real sausage. Trust me, he would have. This is a fake sausage. Really? Really? Okay, you let me down because that's disgusting. It doesn't look like things are going to get much better here. If you are not from the UK and wondering what a Yorkshire pudding is, what is a Yorkshire pudding? It's a
pancake.
It's a pancake? It's like a fluffed up pancake that you have with a roast dinner. That's a real Yorkshire pudding. This little UFO bad boy here, I mean, what? There's a density about this not found outside of lead. Vegan bread sauce. I'm a huge bread sauce fan, and gravy. Yorkshire pudding's 5, bread sauce 8. Yorkshire pudding for you?
It's a staple part. I'll give it an 8.
An 8, and the bread sauce?
Oh, 9.
I'm going to start on this because it might take me a while to bite into it. Oh, there's something about this vegan Yorkshire pudding. It tastes like a little cake, but it doesn't taste like a bad little cake. And I'm reckoning if you dunk this in some bread sauce, it's like a little cake. It's like a scone or something. I'm going to give this a 5. It's a different product. They should just call this a little vegan cake.
Yeah, a 5. It wasn't a Yorkshire pudding, but I'll give it a 5.
As a standalone little cake, it's all right, but it's not a Yorkshire pudding. Have you seen the updated website?
Of course I have.
How good did it look?
Amazing.
Do you know who I built that website with?
Who did you build it with?
I built it with Squarespace.
How easy was it to build that website?
It's a good thing you asked, Joshua. It was incredibly easy to build that website because building a website with Squarespace is incredibly straightforward.
How would I find a website like that for myself?
Why are you speaking an Australian accent? Why are you doing an Australian accent? How do you find a web? That's it. Do an Australian accent. Because this could go to Australia. Australians could be watching. How would ask me how an Australian would find the website? Ask me something.
How would an Australian find the website?
An Australian, or indeed anybody else, would find the website like that by going to Squarespace and looking through the huge range of templates they have available. Find one that takes your fancy and then edit and change it to your heart's content until you're happy with it. But what if you wanted to sort out your domain needs or e-commerce solutions? Do you think Squarespace would do that too?
No, surely not.
They would, you know.
Do you not have like Joe Rogan's got like an already made that he just inserts into his podcast?
This is not the Joe Rogan podcast.
I can tell. How would I launch my own website?
What you do is you'd go to squarespace.com, you download your free trial, you design your website, which as we've already established is incredibly easy to do, and then when you're ready to upload, you'd use the code Mark Lewis to get 10% off. Truffle time. A truffle is a very filling, a very very rich product. And the trouble at Christmas is there's so much to eat that I don't really know that you can have something so small take up so much space.
That's what she said.
The truffle just ruins things. I have 4 or 5 truffles and then I'm full up. And I don't want to be full up. I want to go and eat other leftovers. They look identical. Are you a truffle man?
Oh, of course I'm a truffle man.
What would you give a truffle out of 10? I mean, for me it's a 5.
9.
9?
Yeah.
Too rich, too dense. You know, I've got Christmas cake. I've ate a few of these. I'm going to be full up. Just better, same, no different. To me, that's another 5. It's a truffle.
They might even be better.
Oh my goodness. Wow. It's a lot of calories we're doing here. Try that one straight afterwards. Go, keep it in your mind. Keep the first one in your mind. How's that got better? Vegan truffle beats non-vegan truffle.
They're amazing.
Yeah, they are. I mean, they are filling, but Josh needs to leave because Josh, you just don't like mince pies, do you?
No.
Have you ever had a mince pie?
Yeah.
And he just didn't like it.
No.
So we're going to replace him with his older brother, who has a more mature palate. YouTube, George, YouTube. You might not be seeing George's face. Do I need to blow your face out?
Haven't decided yet.
So you like a mince pie? What would you give a mince pie out of 10 as a Christmas treat?
That's great. Oh, 10 out of 10.
Or while you're here,
That's disgusting.
it does vomit. But do you know what it tastes like?
Vomit.
Do you know what they should have marketed it as?
Vomit.
The nacho cheese that comes in a little pot when you go to the cinema. That's a vegan Yorkshire pudding.
Looks like a biscuit.
It's a vegan biscuit. Oh, you're funnier than your brother. Right. Do you still rate that as a 10 out of 10 product? Okay. We couldn't find vegan brandy butter. It is out there, it does exist. We couldn't find it today. I'll tell you how much I used to like brandy butter. One year, it was after Christmas, I found some leftover mince pies. We had mince pies. We had no brandy butter left over. So what I did was, I found a pack of butter and I microwaved it for a little bit, made it a little bit squishy, and then got a potato masher and I mashed the block of butter up. I sprinkled sugar on it and didn't have any brandy. I think I poured Jack Daniels on it and made a buttery, sugary, alcoholic paste and then ate it with the mince pies. That entire block of butter covered in sugar and JD with mince pies.
Nice.
I used to be quite heavy. I'm going to give a regular mince pie an 8, and I'm going to give this one a 7.8. I mean, it's close. It's 0.2 off. If it had a giant chunk of butter with it covered in sugar and alcohol, it'd be all right.
It's a mince pie, so it's automatically a 7.
Okay. Wow, any mince pie.
Not as sugary though, so I'll give that 7.5. That one's way sweeter. This one's not as sweet, so.
But there's something about it that's not great.
That's an average mince pie.
Go send your brother back in. I can't keep looking at that. It's going to make me ill.
Take my mince pie as well.
When I was at school, 9 maybe, 8 or 9,
100 years ago.
I was Bob Cratchit in Scrooge. There was a scene set around a dinner table. They got me Christmas pudding to eat on stage. So while the other kids are doing their lines, I'm just eating the Christmas pudding. A couple of times a night, like all week while we did the Christmas play, I must have eaten a lot of Christmas pudding. I may be able to trace all my eating disorders back to that. That may be, I feel like I should be on a couch and talking about my mother or something. Right, let's go. For me, Christmas pudding, that's a 9. That's a 9 product.
7.
Okay. Again, needs brandy butter, doesn't it? What's that like?
Moist on the inside.
Moist on the inside.
Yeah.
This one's moist on the outside.
That's better
Isn't it?
than the normal one.
I'm getting flashbacks to 1981 and that stage. I'm giving that 9.1 just to give it the edge because that's a winner. I mean, their lines just went on and on for ages, rabbiting away, forgetting half of them. I just sat there eating.
Yeah, I can tell.
Christmas pot noodle. I'm not quite sure why we're including this. Jen brought it back from shopping and just said, try this. You can find out all you need to know about pot noodles from the fact that their Christmas dinner version is by standard vegan. There is no meat in this jug of something. I would look at the ingredients, but it would put me off. Oh.
No, that is bad.
0 points for vegan, non-vegan, doesn't matter. 0 points for pot noodle. This is a Ritter Sport marzipan bar. One of the most disappointing things that happened to me last Christmas was that I didn't have my traditional large consumption of this product because I assumed it wasn't vegan, and then I discovered it was and I'd missed out on it. So I'm making up this year. There is no non-vegan version, so this gets rated by me at, I'm tempted to say 11, but let's be sensible. It's an 11. So you a marzipan fan?
10 out of 10.
11. There were 2 bars. I had to have one for lunch. Baileys. Although we couldn't find any Baileys, so from Marks and Spencer's, they've had some of our money, haven't they, today? Man, it's a good job this video is sponsored. We've got vegan and non-vegan chocolate liqueur. Again, big Baileys fan back in the day. Could easily do a bottle of Baileys in an evening. That's the non-vegan one, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. It doesn't look as thick and creamy, does it? Okay.
A bit watery.
Initial impression, a little bit watery. Almost smells watery.
That's good.
Okay, so what are you giving that out of 10?
10. Yeah, it's not as good.
It's not, is it?
No.
Yeah. I mean, it's no surprise really that a cream liqueur that doesn't have any cream in it isn't very creamy. I mean, eventually it would get better because you'd just get more and more drunk and it would just become all right. But the first couple of glasses of that are not. Okay, it's growing on me. In summary, the Christmas pudding was better. If we could find vegan brandy butter, if you make vegan brandy butter, comments, DM, somehow get in contact because we can do business. You thought the truffles were better.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of truffles, so I don't care. The cake was as good. The marzipan's obviously the marzipan. If you had to have Christmas as a vegan, would it make your Christmas worse? That's the bottom line.
Yes.
Do you want to think about it?
No.
He's sitting right there. He's right there. You might be right. What we should do is rent a really tall building for Christmas Day. It's a callback. You weren't here for that. It's a Hans Gruber joke. Lincoln thought he was missing out. Speak.